Hey guys, welcome back to another Leetcode video. Today we're going to be looking at Leetcode 1590, make sum divisible by p. This is a medium difficulty Leetcode problem, and it's actually one of the harder ones. And we're told in this problem description that given an array of positive integers nums, remove the smallest subarray, possibly empty, such that the sum of the remaining elements is divisible by p. It is not allowed to remove the whole array. And we basically want to return the length of the smallest subarray we can remove, which is divisible by p. If we were to remove that subarray, the sum of nums would then be equal to would then be divisible by p. So this is if you've kind of already spotted, you might have realized this is basically a much harder version of Leetcode 560. Leetcode 560 is a prefix sum and hash map problem, but it's one of the easiest ones which explores that technique of using a prefix sum and hash map. This is a more harder one. First of all, to spot, because a lot of people just go straight for the sliding window and then realize that it doesn't work because it's not a monotonic array, such that that sliding window technique could work on it, because we don't actually know when to shift and when to when to expand or when to shrink our window. So the sliding window doesn't actually work, and so we have to use a prefix sum and a hash map. But trying to understand the maths and the intuition behind using a prefix sum and a hash map is a bit confusing. So I would definitely recommend looking at Leetcode 560 and some other Leetcode other prefix sum hash map problems before you have a look at this problem. But anyway, we're given an example 3142, and we're given p is equal to 6. And so the sum of the elements in nums is equal to 10. So the sum of all of this is equal to 10. Mod 6 gives us 4. And so we want to remove the subarray 4. And so the subarray 4 here is 3 plus 1, and that gives us 4 and 2. Or we can remove the subarray 4 just consisting of a single element, and that's a length of 1, and so we return 1 because we want to find the smallest subarray, not just a subarray, but the smallest subarray. So trying to explain this is very confusing. Just explaining a bit of what we're doing in through diagrams and drawings it can be quite confusing. And so I would definitely recommend watching a video on how the prefix sum hash maps technique actually works. But we're going to hop straight into the code, and I think that'll make a lot more sense as opposed to trying to wrestle with drawings to conceptually understand the problem. So the first thing we're going to do is create a total, which is going to be the sum of all the nums. And we want to remove something from that total so that if we divide it by p, it should be equal to it should be mod p, it should be equal to 0. So we want to say remainder is going to be equal to the total mod p. This is what we want to find, that we want to remove. If the remainder is equal to 0, well, then we can just return 0. We can just return an empty list. Why can we do that? Well, the nums, the total of nums already is divisible by p, so we don't need to do anything. Otherwise, we want to have a result, and initially our result is going to be equal to the length of nums. And what we're going to say is we're just going to return -1 if result is equal to the length of nums. So it means that we can't actually make any, we can't actually remove anything to make it divisible by p, so we're just going to return -1 as the problem description tells us to. Otherwise, we're just going to return result. So that's that out of the way. We can now look at what we want to set up. So we want to have our current sum, which is going to be our current prefix sum. And instead of storing the total so far, we'll store the remainder so far. So let's do it now. So instead of storing the sum, we'll store, initially it will be equal to 3, and then 3 plus 1, it'll be equal to 4, and so we should be able to basically go through. So the remainder will then be equal to the remainder will be equal to 4, and then when we get to 4, the remainder will be equal to 2, because 6 will have gone into 8 once, but the remainder will be 2. And so the current sum is more of we should just call it the current remainder, but I'll call it the current sum for now. But it's going to be the current remainder so far that we've accumulated. And then we want to have our remainders hash map, and this is going to be our prefix sum hash map. We want to set it to -1, of course. And this is something that we always do, just so that we can just to pass the edge case of if the first element is equal to p, for example. So then what we want to do is say for I in range of nums, let's actually deconstruct nums. So we'll just say nums I is equal to the number, and what we can say now is current sum. Well, current sum is going to be equal to current sum plus num, the number that we have so far, mod p, because we want to find the remainder. We want to store the current remainder so far. Again, it's a bit confusing because it should probably be current remainder, but my naming skills aren't best, so you'll have to bear with me. Then we want to have a prefix. Now, this prefix, what is this prefix supposed to be? This prefix is supposed, and what we're storing in this remainder. So in this remainder, we're storing basically the remainder that we have at each index. And what we want to do, what we're going to say in prefix, is let's find a chunk that equals to remain. We want to find a chunk, a subarray, which equals up to remain. And we want to get the length of that and store that in result. So we want to be able to store a subarray which equals to remain, so that we can remove it from our total and make our total divisible by p. So how can we actually do that? Well, we can say, let's take the current sum minus the remainder mod p. Now this will give us a prefix, which if we have already seen this prefix and we find this prefix in our remainder set, let's say we find that prefix in our remainder set, and this is equal to j, the index is equal to j that we find. So the length of, or actually the chunk which equals to remainder is going to be I minus j. And so this is going to be the chunk, the length of I minus j, which we want to set our result to. So I hope that kind of makes sense. Let's actually get to coding again. So what do we want to do now? Well, we want to set again, if prefix is in our remainders hash set, let's set result equal to the minimum of what result already is, because result might already be small. Result might already be smaller. So we want to say either what's in our result is small, or I minus j, where j is going to be equal to remainders prefix. So that's we've set our result now, and then we want to set the current sum, the current remainder position equal to I, so that on the next lookup we can use that if need be. And then we've already got our return statement. So let's submit our code and let's check it works. And it does not work for I in range nums. Cannot be interpreted in range length nums. We're going to pass in an integer to range, not a list. And all 145 test cases are passed. So this is one of the problems where I was kind of looking through the logic and trying to calculate it, and really trying to figure out this part. This part is that we are storing a accumulated remainder, and then we're trying to find a prefix that, if we remove the remainder, and we want to find another remainder that we've already seen, which allows us to find a chunk which is equal to remainder, and then set that equal to result. Once you kind of understand that intuition, the problem becomes a lot easier to understand. But it is quite a complex problem to conceptually wrap your head around. And honestly, it's analogous of more complicated problems. I mean, there's a lot of graph problems, which I'd say are easier. It's probably easier to come up with Dijkstra's algorithm, or probably not. But implementing Dijkstra is just what, you know, would be a lot easier. It's just BFX with a queue, as opposed to something like this where you really have to think of the way you want to rearrange formulas and get the prefix and get the chunk, which is equal to remainder, and then remove that from the total such that total is now divisible by p. So I hope this video kind of made sense. I definitely would recommend going over it again, getting a piece of paper and jotting the outputs you get at each step, and eventually it will make sense, even if it does require a little bit of head banging along the way. So I hope this video made sense, guys. In terms of time complexity, we're looking at a big O event for space and a big O event for time. For both of them, because we are going to be storing a hash map, so all these prefix and hash map problems will have a big O event space complexity worst case. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.